This is Fan Spawner version 3. Here you're seeing me changing the animations for the away fans. Now we have new chairs that fold up and down. We've got transitions for fans. We've got fan control groups where you can control different fans. And we've also got home and away football colours as well.
Welcome back to version 3 of the fan spawner. It's been a long time coming. As you can see, we've got our brand new chair models, and also we've got two new products coming out as well. Our stadium builder, which you can see I built my favourite stadium, and you can also see my football pitch, which looks really good from far away, and also it's got really realistic grass up close. The grass close up will be getting improved. So to start with, when you open up your content browser, you should see a folder which says fan spawner, and here we will have, you go into blueprints and you will see two new actors. You've got a line curve spawner and a square box spawner. For this demonstration, I'm going to use the square box spawner. So I will open up the square box spawner. Sorry, I will drag the square box spawner. You'll see that we have got, it looks like new chair models, but this is the same chair model as before with updated textures. And you can also see when we change to this chair model, again updated textures with some like scratches on real football seats. You'll also notice the numbers on the seats here, and then we'll also change to the stand chair slim. This is our newest model, which the seats will fold out when there is fans sitting in the seats. I'm going to leave it as this just now, and I'm going to run through some of these with you. Some of our options that are now on the right hand side. We've got the chair number left to right. If you check this box, it will change the seat numbers going from left to right, going from right to left, and then now going from left to right. So you can see here we've got number 1, and no matter where you change no matter how big you make it, it will move the number 1 position to the next row along, and then make this now number 10. It's a very good feature, I think, because all the real football stadiums have football number seats. Here, open and closed, this will not be in the final version, and this is just is done away with now, as it does it automatically. So the next one is control group. You'll see that this is set to control group 0. Now what control groups do is they allow you to control different groups of fans. So for example, control group 0, it goes 0 to 3, and that is for home fans, and also 4 to 6. If you don't have the football fan setting turned on when you spawn, then it will just spawn fans with random colours, and I'll show that later on. But for the meantime, if you look at the home and away, so 0 to 3 is for home, and 4 to 6 is for away. So if you 0 to 4, I might want to make all these fans 0, because they'd be the home fans. But also, I might want to make this little stand here control group 1 or control group 2 or control group 3, because this is maybe like the singing section, so you'd maybe want a slightly different animation for them, so they'd be still the home fans wearing the home shirts, but they'd be moving about. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move the chair over to here. I'll rotate this around, and also get this all lined up. So it's just like spleen points, so you just click and you drag, click and you drag. If you had a more complex shape, what you can also do is hold down the Alt key and click and drag, and you can make really complex shapes. But we're not needing any complex shapes just now, so I'm just going to Control Z. That's fine. What we're also going to do is go back on here, and I think if I go down here, so again, this is go back to the options. This is show chairs debug, so I can turn this on and turn this off if I wanted to. This also tells you how many number of seats there are in this particular stand, or sorry, this particular fan spawner. Now this is our new feature, which is the spawn color. We can now click on this, and you can actually change the color of the seats. Before we had presets of the seats, preset colors for the seats, but now you can really choose any color you want. You cannot, at this stage, color match it to the rest of your stadium, but you can paint them to the same color as the rest of the stadium later on. So it will make sense. So that'll make sense later on. So I'm just going to do a random green just now, maybe make it a bit darker. So it's obviously not going to be an exact match at this moment in time. I'll click OK. And then this is, next feature is standing event no chairs. So if we tick this, all it does is puts placeholders in place for the fans. Maybe you know, if you've got a concert or something, you might want to use that instead of that. Or if you wanted, like, you know, if this was like a event, you know, you could have all the fans placed around here. We'll take this off, and we've also got custom ground offset. Make this 100. This will allow us to, you know, from where the origin of the fan spawner is, it allows you to move the whole thing up if you have a different start point. We'll make this back to 0. And we've also got the spacing. So the Z spacing is for the height, so I'll maybe make this 30. You can see it does it quite well here. And I can see the other spleen point here, and I'm just going to move this back. Oh, sorry, I went too far. Go back to the spleen points. Maybe make this 32. 34. I'll make sure this is lined up right at the bottom. If it's not, I'll put the whole thing off. As you can see now, it's looking a little bit more like a stadium. It does take a little while just to refine everything. That's maybe like the last row I want to do. So you maybe see as well that it's not exactly, so it's not exactly lining up 100%. So what you can do is if we go back into the fan spawner, -4 or -5, and you can see we can now see the chairs a wee bit better. So it depends how well built your stadium is. Some rows might line up better than others if they've been symmetrical all the way up. This one clearly hasn't, but it'll do the job for just now. So it's not necessarily the fan spawner, it's necessarily the way that I've built the stadium. And again, if you use the X one, I made this 50, it'll make the gap in between the seats a lot bigger, which obviously we don't want that. So once you went through, I think we went through pretty much all these settings. Now, because this is an away stand, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the control group from here all the way to control group 4, which you can see is the start of the away. Now, to give it some context, there is, obviously this being a football stadium, I've made it home and away fans. So the home fans will have a home top, and then the away fans will also have an away top, and there's some extra fans in there which will have shirt colours, so like they might be associated with this team that's green, and then this team, the away team that's brown, they will also have colours associated with that. When you don't have if you don't tick on the football mode, when you spawn the fans, then it will just spawn to random colours, and it blends in the crowd quite well. So the next thing left to do is pressing the spawn button, add instance. Now, what I can actually do now is I'm going to drag this up, and I'm going to do the next row. So it's just about getting it all lined up. Here we go. It's not too bad at all. You will see it maybe goes a little bit further. Now this time we have really gave you the tools to do however you want. You know, we've give you painting tools for control groups, so you can just draw a line right through here and update the control groups, and you'll literally be able to, like this whole line that you've just drawn, however you draw it, will be a different control group. So this is a prime example about the extra spleen points. You see it's cutting through the stadium here. I'm just going to push this in. Second update. Try to get some of the chairs right up if we can. We're cutting through a little bit here. You see now I'm dragging this points over here. Now, like this is a complete line. So what I'm going to do is see if I can see the green line a little bit better. Green arrow. See if I can see the green arrow a little bit better. I'm going to hold down the Alt key and I'm going to click and drag. Now by placing a new point here, it should, oh, look at that. So again, we're going to take another point, hold an Alt, should get it not too bad here. And there we go. So looking pretty good. And you can see the numbers go right from 2, it should be 1 right in the corner. 1, all the way over. There you go. Now this one chair could be a bit of a pest. See, just removes it. We've also got a removal tool, which is why we're going over these bits. So now what we do with that one is also add this in and make sure it's under the same control group. Control group 4, that's fine with me. So I'm going to click add instance again. Now I'm just going to delete the box spawner because we've got no longer got a use for it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go through all the fan BP settings itself. So clicked on the fan BP here, and this is fan BP 5. Fan BP 6 is up the top. So with fan BP 5 we've got a few options. We've got spawned amount, tells us the spawned amount of chairs. We've also got the chair visibility, which is set to true. Again, if you set it to false you can see through it. And this is the combined blueprint. If you wanted to combine these two together, and you can edit them all together, you know, it's very handy to do. You just click this drop down. I would click fan BP6 and I would click add chairs to actor, and it would delete this fan BP6 and add them all to this actor that we are just now, which is fan BP5. Control groups are not affected by this, so you know you could have across all the fan blueprints. If you change control group 1, it'll change control group 1 for all of them, which was a big part of the design of this feature. Let's clear this just now. Working our way down, you'll see some new things here. I've got update editor with fan control group button, and also edit fan control groups. So I'm going to click this button just now, turn this to true, and I'm also going to click play. And you can see here that this is our usual stadium colors, this color and this color. What we're also going to do, what this is showing us here, is that this is control group 4, which is what we set before. If you remember when we just done the spawn. But you can really go to town and set any control groups up you want. So we can make this cursor a little bit bigger, and we could just paint this as like control group 0, and we could paint, I don't know, this is control group 3, and this is control group 5. But if you have the football setting on, I know that's not the best colour to distinguish, but if you have the football setting on, control groups 4 to 6 will show the away colours, and then any from 0 to 3 will show the home fan colours. So I'm just going to go back and paint this back to 4. Get rid of all this. You can make my cursor a wee bit bigger. With the same cursor which is used for remove chairs and also paint chairs. So what I'm going to do just now is we'll come back to paint chairs in a minute. Sorry, we'll come back to fan control groups in a minute. Come out of here just now. Now usually what you would do is you would click update editor with new control group, but we don't need to worry about that just now because we're going to do something else first. What I would like to take you to first is also the paint chairs. So we'll just click any paint chairs mode and we will click play. It works the exact same, but it allows us now to paint this chairs, only this chairs that we have selected on. So we can go to colours, and again you can colour match any one you want. So we'll just say we want to make it red. You click confirm, and then you can just start painting your red chairs. But what I want to do is I want to click on this little dropper icon, which again I believe is new. And I can, if you don't select anything, it'll just click the nearest colour, I think. So if we click this and we'll click on this colour here, this is the colour of that stand, and I'll make my brush size big, and we'll just start painting. Now it may look slightly different, but I think that's because of the light. It's the sun that's shining on the stadium, whatever it is. There we go. So we'll come out of there, and we'll go down to the update editor with new chair colour, click that button, and that's the chair colour been updated. And then we're going to come down to remove chair, and I'm going to turn this on. Now this bit I will cut out because it is very tedious, but I will show you how it's done. So it's the same again, but what it does this time is I'll make this brush size a little bit smaller. You just have to paint the chairs that you want to remove. They'll turn black just now, and then to undo if you made a mistake, oh I made that mistake there, you just hold down the Z key on your keyboard and you just click on the chairs and they will turn back to the normal colour, which means they won't be deleted. And again I made a mistake. Now when you're positioning the chairs you might want to line them up a little bit better. You'll see I've got like a slight overhang on each of the chairs. I like to just remove 3 rows. So yeah, I'll see you in a minute once I finish this. So again, what we'll do is we'll come down here again and we'll just click update and move chairs, and it should just delete the chairs that we're not using. And that looks a lot cleaner now. So again, I'm just going to do the same for up here, and I'll be back in a minute. So guys, now that we're back, another thing I just wanted to show you quickly would be like, for example, this stadium with the home fans. I know, for example, that 1, 2, and 3 are like the second section. So to show you the example, when we do the fan control zones, I'm going to make this one 5. Let me just make this whole bit a second section. And like I said, you could even you can just draw out. Maybe you'll see some uh, other people. Maybe it might not just be this specific area. Fans might be overspilled. They might also have a few singing fans, or just dotted about the place. You can really do anything you want. I do apologise, this colour isn't the best to see in certain lights. You can just use control group 6 if you want to, if you weren't using that. Just do another one up here. So yeah, so if we press escape again, and update editor. Now I always like to double check, but it's never failed me yet. If you click play again, it should be updated. Yeah, perfect. And I'm also just going to double check that this one up here is, just change control group 2. Yeah, that's all control group 4. So just before we go any further, what I am going to show you is when we click play, you will notice what I'm going to show you now is if you're wanting a close-up of some fans, there is an error with some of them. That you will see. Try to find the right ones. Now, you will see with some of the fans that there is an error. You can see when you get too close to them, there's a pixel that appears out of place. It goes way miles away. Now, if you're needing close-up of the fans, there is a setting which you'll have to change. You can see it's almost the same in most of the fans, especially in this person's hands up here. It's not down to me, it's down to a bug with Unreal Engine and Vertex animation. So to fix the bug, if you're wanting close-ups, go into your fan materials and open up the main fan material, standard opacity. Then what you'd want to do is scroll down here in the main settings, so not selected anything, and you will see, you just type up here max, and you'll see max world position offset displacement is 200. If you set this to 0 and click apply and save, that will fix that issue. But it poses another issue, which you might have to choose which one you would prefer to have. Is if you look right at the edges, the fans start clipping out. That is just because of the way the world clipping works. It doesn't make it great, but it does solve the bug of the fans. You'll see they've got no pixels out of place. See, they've got really bad there. So again, if you're wanting really close up with the fans, it's maybe not ideal. Until Unreal Engine fixes that bug, there's not much I can do. So to get it back again, we just go back in here and we just change this again back to 200. And again, that's it all fixed now. No clipping problems. So the next thing to do is to spawn the fans. So just now I'm going to show you how to do it through the level blueprint, but really you can set this up however you want. So you might have somebody playing on the pitch and then they score a goal, and then whatever fans it is, once maybe you have a box collision in your goal, and once the box collision gets hit with the ball or however you do it, you can set the fans to go off. So I'll show you a little example of that later on at the end of the video. So what you want to do, or what I'm going to do for this example, is open up the level blueprint, and here, or whatever blueprint you use, you will have an event begin play, or or sometimes an event construct. So I'll drag off this, and I'm just going to put in spawn all fans BP. This will spawn in all your fan BPs. Now you're probably wondering, how do you access all these settings? You could branch off here and then click this, but I think that's a waste of time. All you need to do really is just right click here and click split strut pin. And here we go. Now your spawner delay, what this allows you to do is, if you've got multiple fan BPs, say you've got 60,000 or 90,000 fans, each got 10,000 in each BP, what you'd want to do is add a little delay so they're not all spawned at the same time, because it will break your system. The next setting down from that is your spawn settings percentage. If this is at 50%, only 50% of the fans will spawn, 25, 25%, so on and so forth. Now this next one is the the spawn settings for the constant phone lights. Again, same principle. If you adjust that, it will, from 0 to 100, it will allow you to spawn phone torches, but the phone torches will obviously only be visible at night. Now this is a 10k performance lock prevention. I would turn this off for just now, but really it's just to help prevent lag. Anybody who's got a laggy system. And the next thing is spawning settings for football colours. Now this is the newest feature which we spoke about earlier, is the football settings. The football colours. So I'm going to click this, and that'll allow me to have my home fans, the home colours, and then the away fans, the away colours. Phone flash settings. So yeah, this is only at runtime, but what this does is, if you've maybe got like a boxing game or something, fans will be taking photos, so like the flashes will be going off in the dark. And the last thing we've also got is this, but this is not used just now. So let's open this up and click play. You'll see, because I've still got the control group painter on, I'll need to come off this and uncheck this checkbox. That should all spawn. Now you won't have this menu, it's on the right hand side of my screen. I've only got it because of the another project I'm working on. And you can see the fans here. Now you'll see this texture streaming pool. If you're new to Unreal Engine, you will need a command to sort this. Now when you get too close to fans, it will come up with saying texture streaming pool over budget. All you need to do is just put in a command, and I believe it is this one. I'm going to change this number to 4000 for my computer, and that's that fixed. It's only this laggy because I'm recording at the same time. Now you can see the home tops, and you can also see some of the fans with the colours. I think there's 2 fans with the home tops and 2 fans with the colours. And the same applies for the away fans. See right now they're in the middle of a celebration animation. They're all doing the same thing. So to change the fan animations once you've got them spawned, you can really set this up however you want. I'll show you how I set it up. You will need a BP fans reference for this. So what I would be doing here for this is, what I would be doing for, now to spawn the fans, what you'd want to do is, you'd want to go over here, back into your level blueprint, and we're going to need a BP fans reference. So it doesn't matter which fans BP you use, You can really use anyone, and it doesn't matter which control group either. So I'm just going to use fan BP6, that's one I got selected. Come into here, and you just able to right click, and then it says here create a reference to to BP fan 6, and that's how you get your reference for there. Then what you would do is as well, maybe this you'd have an event like when the ball gets kicked in the back of the net. But for just now, I've just got this event here, which is the keyboard one. So I can maybe just type in number 7, and look, there it is. I just click that, and that's how I've got this number 1. So I will save this over here. So what you'd want to do is you want to drag off there, right click, and we want to search for a new one, search for a new function called change all fan BP blueprints. Right click on it and split pin structure. Now this hold I've done here, I'll show you what this does in a minute. You don't need this, I've just set this up for myself to show you how to do this today. So what we want to do is we want to change the animation. So if you change it to control group 3 or 2, it will change it for that control group. Now it doesn't matter whether what fan BP you've got as your target. If you've got it set to control group 0, it'll change control group 0 animation for all fan BPs. So you don't need 4 events, it'll just do it all through the one. So we've also got the animation settings, which is do you want your fans to be sitting, standing or mixed? Now to give it some context, there is roughly 4 standing animations and 4 sitting animations for each animation category. So there'll be 4 for celebration, there'll be 4 sitting, 4 standing, idle, 4 sitting, 4 standing, angry, 4 sitting, 4 standing, and clapping, I think there is 2 or 3 for sitting and standing. So we've also got we've also got stand, sit, and mix. When you've got it on mix, if you've got it on mix, what it'll do is it'll mix it between when you change it to celebration, when the animation changes to celebration, it'll either have some people sitting or some people standing. The ratio can be changed. So down to the animation settings here, we've got change animation settings play rate. So here I'm just going to leave this as 1, but if you wanted the animation to be slightly more moving, you can maybe make it 1.3. We'll just leave it to 1, and I'm also going to put this to idle. So we've got idle mixed, which means, it's idle animations, but some people will be sitting, some people will be standing. We've got change animation settings transition time. What this will be is, if I set this to 0.3, this is how quick the fan would change their animation. Now, if they're sitting and maybe standing, if they're doing a celebration and jumping up at their seats, maybe want to make this 0.2 seconds, but obviously this is 0.3 just now. So this is about how quick the animation changes. Next one is the max movement delay. If you had this to 0, what would happen is all the fans would change their animation at the same time, which isn't very good. So I've set it to 5 seconds. So between 0 and 5 seconds is when the animation will start to change. Again, if goals went in, you maybe want to make this 1 second, because not every fan will respond at the same time, but they'll all be relatively quick. And lastly, we've got the change animation spawn ratio of sit stand. So basically what this is if you're on mixed, it will, for example, if I have this to 0.8, it will have 80% of people standing with the mix and 20% of them sitting. And again, if I had this to like 0.3, it would have 30% of them standing and 70% of them sitting. So this is your ratio for your mixing. So let's just say I want to make this mix idle and maybe want some people standing, so we'll say 0.2. Max movement delay, I'll make this back to 5. That'll be fine. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to plug this one back in because this is what I'd set up earlier. Just to give this bit of code some context, what I'm going to do is I've set it so when I press the up arrow key, it's going to change this number from 0 to 1, and then if I keep going, it's just going to keep adding this variable up, and then down is going to take this variable down, and I'm printing it as well. The reason why I'm doing that is because for this demonstration, I want to show you me controlling the different control groups. So it just changes the control groups which I'm controlling. That's all it does. So the way I've got it set up just now is that I can either do sitting and clapping, or I can also do the I've also got mixed fans, celebration, and 80% of them will be standing when they celebrate. And again, you can really customize this however you want. I'm just doing it for this demonstration. I'll show you how this all works. So when I click play, you see I've got these fans. So what I'm doing is I'm going to push the up key. Again, you might not have yours set up like this, but I'm doing it. So if I remember right, 4 should be able to put these down. So if I press 1, you'll see them slowly start to sit down. So that's over the 5 seconds, it slowly made them sit down. And you'll see, when I painted some of the fans, they're not all sitting down, some of them are still doing their celebration over here. So that's what I mean. So these are all under control group 5, the ones that are standing up, as you can see. So what I'll do is I can also push this up, and you'll see control group 5 in the top left corner, and then I can press number 1 again, and they'll slowly sit down too. You know, so maybe the home team scored a goal and they're not too happy about it. I know they're clapping just now, but again, you wouldn't have them as clapping if you were doing that scenario. So I've actually done is I've actually positioned myself in the stadium now. So you can see that if I go down to control group 0, 2, 1, 0, and I've now wait to press number 2, and it's going to make it celebrate. So they just kick the ball in the back of the net, and they're all celebrating. And you can see that only some of them are standing. And once they've done celebrating, we can maybe slowly sit them down. And maybe they score again. What a goal! See all the fans erupting. Again, you can change all different play rates and different control groups and however you want to do it. That's pretty much the premise of it, and then sit them all back down if I wanted to. You'll see them all sit down again slowly, and then maybe I'll go all the way up to control group 5. Now, you know, for example, if you were doing like the away team scored a goal, and you would have to try and trigger the both control groups at the same time. Oh, maybe 5, and I'll just, or maybe 4. I'll make them celebrate. And so yeah, that's basically it. Now, this little bit here is just to show you what it looks like if you turn this setting off. Your control groups still work, but what has changed, as you'll see, the fans are all different colours. Different colours. They're just you can see that they're all mixed and they're all different colours. So they don't have the football kits on anymore. The people who do have the football kits on have just got plain tops, and then the people with the football colours, they've just got random colours as well. So if you don't want the football setting on, you can always turn it off. The next thing I'm going to show you is if you wanted to change your football kits and your football colours, it's very easy. You just go down to the content browser again, and into fan spawner, and then what you want to do is you want to find your materials, fan materials, and then your standard opacity. Once you've got this opened, you can come right up to the top, because it goes into the base colour bit. Follow this round. Now this is my home colour, as you can see labelled up here, and you could change this and it would change the people who don't have the kits on colour. And then this is the away colour. And then if you go further up here, you will see this bit here, football kits, which you can swap out the images, which is the home one and the away one. I've just put them in these folders here. Now these are knockoff kits, they're not the real thing, obviously, as Epic Games wouldn't allow this. And this is our away jersey. I'll save that. So just to show you, if you change this colour, change this colour to like maybe blue for another blue team, clicked OK, and we'll click apply and save. Then when we click the play button, it will take a while to update the actors, as you can see. It says up in the top corner, updating 7 shaders, 5. You can't just come out of it, let it update its thing. Now you can see we have the blue colours for the blue. Now they are still wearing the green kits because we've not obviously updated the kit colour. Sorry, the kit photo. I was just going to show you now how to use the line spawner. You just click and drag, and it's almost the same. You got your again, this is not used, but you've also got your chair number left to right, which would change depending on your chair model. So we can set to this, again we can set this to any colour, let's say. And now if you haven't used this before, all you do is you press hold the Alt key and drag again. You can see it slowly start to make a curve. Now at this stadium that I'm doing just now, they don't have a corner stand, but with this tool I could have added one in. And it's maybe not the most bendiest corner, but you can reposition these. I think that's why they could maybe be a bit better. So obviously you got the standout line to follow, it's a lot easier. A few other settings on here though, extra settings. Your show chairs, just the same. Chair numbers should also do the same. There you go. See how good the grass looks here. And clear number of chairs going back. Now this is how much chairs you've got. So we can maybe put 20 here. See increases. And then also your no standing, same thing again. And your custom ground offset, same again. Just raises the whole thing by that amount. And your spacing again works the exact same. The Z again is the one you want, put it to 30. This is what raises your chairs up. This may be 20. Raise all your chairs back out the way, and then also this one would increase your spacing between your chairs. So and apart from that, that's pretty much it. Apart from the line smoothness, now you can mess about with this, which would increase, which increases your line smoothness. So try to see if I can find a better example of it here. Basically, what it does is it adds more points in here, and the more points you've got, the smoother your line will be. You can see further back here there's less. So between this two, this is actually a perfect example. Between this bit at the back, you can see the purple dots are quite far apart. So this is basically a straight line from here to here. If you wanted this to be even smoother, you increase the number, and it would add another point in there and a point in here, and it would just increase the smoothness of it. And the same thing again, you just click add instance, and then you can delete your line spawner, and this then just turns into normal BP fans, just like before. So that is it for the fan spawner version 3. What I'm going to show you is how to maybe make the football goals change the celebration when you move in. Again, this grass looks really good. Let me know in the comments if you want it on the marketplace soon. So first thing I'm going to do is just create a new class actor. I'm just going to call it goal trigger. So open this up and add a static mesh, and now if I put in here we go. So what I might want to do now is add a wee box collision, add box collision, let's get this over here, and we'll scale this up. Doesn't need to be anything too exact. So just say, I'll make this all that way. And then we will control C and V. Yay. We can change the settings of them both. I'll make this one home. And overlap all dynamics, that's fine. And then we can scroll down here to events, on component, begin overlap maybe, home, and I'll do the same for away. I'm just going to print string just to make sure this works, and put this as away. So we don't need to do this, I'm just doing this as an example. Again, you won't be getting the stadium with it, unfortunately. The stadium builder will be a separate product coming out probably end of next year. The pitch will be done fairly soon, so that'll be out beforehand. So I just want to test it with my character that you have. Surprise, surprise, it's in the same team. It won't work actually, because I'll need to delete this and put in the goal triggers. See the box trigger in there as well. Save that. So this is just imagine the kick the ball in the back of the net. There you go, prints home. So we'll do set up a a trigger for the home. So I'll leave this here. So what we want to do is now we want to open up the goals. And we want to right click and we want to search for a new one, search for a new function called change all fan BP blueprints. Right click on it and split the pin structure. So when, I don't know, when the home team scores, we know we've got a couple different control groups. So we've got well, let's do the home fans first. So the home, we have got, so I would do control group 0 and control group 1 because that's for singing section. Singing section, and when they score we wanted to do mix celebration, and we wanted to do 2, sorry, let's do 1.3 maybe, 1.2, let's do 1.2 here too as well. And then the animation settings and transition time. Again, this will be, I think, 0.2, I want it to be done very, very fast. Or 0.3, why not? No, 0.2 is fine. And then max movement delay, this to be 1, and I want 80%. Same with this. So pretty much the same. The only difference is you control both control groups. So control group 0 for home, control group 1, and then I would maybe do this again. Same thing here for this. But this would be controlling control group 5, no, sorry, 4, and control group 5. So let's say when this team scores, say we'll simulate. I'm going to have to try and change this just now. Put these people all sitting. See them all sitting down, and then if I run into the goal, you could use this as a ball or something, but I've just myself as a collision. See, they've all jumped up and started celebrating. Now you will see that the singing section for the home fans is still celebrating. So what we could do is we could come out here. We could also take control group home and just copy both these actually. Put these both down here. But for this we can maybe do sitting, and make this idle so that the home fans, or we could even make some of them angry if you wanted to do that. So idle and some of them angry, and put this back down to 1. Transition time's fine. Movement delay maybe 3 seconds. And because it's all in sit, this doesn't matter. So try that again. It's laggy because I've got a lot going on just now in this scene. Plus my computer isn't the best. So I know this is going to change, but we want to watch this at the back. You see that they've actually sat down now because they've realised that they've just scored. And they're celebrating, see? And we can apply the same logic again to the home team score. Yeah, and the home team score. Apply the same logic further away. Just quicker doing this. What we'll do is we'll change this from 4 and 5. Doing that earlier. So then we play this. And now this whole stadium should erupt, and those bouncing away fans should be sitting down. You see they've all sat down, and they've all started celebrating. Yeah, and that's how you do it. You can really customize it any way you want, really.